2, 3, 4.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
You're making it real. There it is. Picture's worth a million words. So thank you so much. It's beautiful. Future's bright. Yeah. Now let me get, without further ado, let me get to a very exciting presentation, market making. Let me just make sure that all of our logistics are square. I see Miss Noelle Coates joining us. Good morning.
Good morning.
And your sound, it sounds good too.
Great.
Yeah, thanks. We're so glad you could help anchor our AM program here at the Virginia Solar Summit this year.
Well, thank you very much for having me. And I don't think it's going to be that exciting, but I will do my best.
Maybe for our audience of nerds, we love the nuts and bolts here. So yeah, you have a very receptive audience. Feel free to nerd it up as much as you feel.
Great. All right. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Noelle Coates. I am an attorney with American Electric Power Company. I do most of my work in Virginia out of our Richmond office on behalf of Appalachian Power Company. We serve about 500,000 customers in Virginia. AEP overall serves in 11 states. We do have an unregulated arm too. For those, I'm sure most of you know, but AEP is a very heavily coal company. It has been in the past. 2005, our generation fleet was 70% coal. We had 4% renewables, and I think most of that was, what's right behind me is a mural of Smith Mountain Lake up in Roanoke, outside of Roanoke, which is a huge, massive pump storage facility, which is a very, very cool place to go if you've ever been. Today, in 2021, we're at 44% coal and 18% renewables. We have, I think, 4,200 megawatts of wind and solar and 800 megawatts of hydro and pump storage. And as you may know too, just recently we announced a net zero carbon goal by 2050 for all over AEP. Of course, APCO in Virginia is subject to the Virginia Clean Economy Act, where we will be carbon free, serving our customers here by 2050 as well. We are the phase 1 utility in all the legislation that you read. I'm going to make t-shirts sometime saying what we're phase 1 and Dominion's phase 2. So we have some solar mandates that have been on the books since about 2018 when the Grid Transformation Security Act was passed. That was a mandate that APCO go in for 200 megawatts of solar to request approval to own in Virginia 200 megawatts of solar. In the Clean Economy Act, there's a requirement for us to seek approval of 600 megawatts of solar. So to meet that mandate, we issued an RFP in February. Now, we've issued RFPs in the past. They've just not been as successful with bringing a project to the commission for approval and to completion. We've not been as successful as Dominion has been. We look at them with envy. So hopefully this RFP will get us some projects that we'll be able to bring forward. So this is the first of 3 likely RFPs that we will issue this year. The next one will be for PPAs, and the last one will probably be for RECs. For this particular RFP, we're looking for up to 300 megawatts of solar in Virginia or PJM wind. We want turnkey projects. The minimum size is 50 megawatts. We have an option for battery storage in addition to the project, not as a standalone, not at this time. Some of the just general details, the bids are due at the end of this month, so March 31st. By the end of April, we'll have a short list. End of May, we'll have the bidders. We'll have chosen the bidders with a target date for contract signing by October 1st. That's in order to do hopefully, we need to do a filing in November with the components of our Clean Economy Plan. So we hope to do is to go in with ask the Commission for approval to acquire the project, to operate the project, and for the associated cost recovery. So of course, all these projects are subject to regulatory approval overall. One thing I'll note, and then I will probably stop talking, there is a component of the RFP that asks for how the project will address environmental justice factors. I heard some discussion on that earlier. That's a new requirement that was passed in 2020. that all government agencies in Virginia take into account environmental justice. And having watched that bill move through the legislative session, it's a very short bill, so there's not a lot of meat on the bones, and we don't really know what exactly the commission expects us to show them. We get discovery requests in every case that we had pending before them now, asking how these requests for energy efficiency or cost recovery, for example, how they impact environmental justice. And so we're looking to the commission's orders on our clean economy plan and Dominion's for them to give us a little bit more information, so then we can give to our bidders information on what they need to show us and we'll take that into account as we evaluate the bids. I will note that we are in 11 states with regulated utilities, and Virginia is, I think, the only one that has this. So we're kind of leading the charge on environmental justice, at least in the states that we serve across the Midwest and Southwest and Southeast. So that is something, and I wish I could give more guidance to the potential bidders on what we expect, but I think we're all kind of figuring that out as we go. So that's it, and I encourage everyone to submit a bid. I mean, this is a really exciting time for our company. And for Southwest Virginia in particular. So thank you for letting me come and talk for a second. I appreciate it. It's been great hearing everything, and especially all the focus on Southwest Virginia.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thank you, Noelle. That's perfect. Really great information. And you really said a lot there. And thank you for just adding another dimension to one of my mantras of just how special Virginia is and what's happened there the last few years. And the setup, it is leading the way in so many ways. On EJ already, there's HB 1925 on the governor's desk that might create a grant program similar to the US EPA Brownfield Grant Program. That will be first in the laboratory of states. We had our legal session this morning, and the legislature also made a fix for leases. There's some special requirements you might appreciate as an attorney. If you have a lease, it still has to be a deed of lease, and that freaked everybody out after a court case, but the legislature fixed that. So you've got great people at state agencies in Virginia too. I don't know what's happening in Virginia, but it's all very, very constructive for our way forward, even bipartisan bills flying through unopposed. So super, super impressive. And yeah, the EJ thing, it's all just begun, right? Such as a renaissance. And I think where we're really looking to guidance there, we're not starting from scratch. It's something that I've cared a lot about growing up poor and rural, and in communities with legacy, issues. And we have some the clearest guidance that I've seen, of course, is in this EPA Brownfield Grant Program, where they've got, it's down to kind of check the box type stuff. And I know that you guys are kind of waiting for that. Others are working for that, and it's a focus. So we look forward to seeing how you guys kind of track those issues and make it real. But looking ahead to the rest of the year, I just was thinking about, your future RFPs. We've got some bonus time here for some questions from others, but look ahead to your other RFPs and how you see, beyond EJ progressing from this RFP, into the next couple years of this solar boom.
Yeah, it's, I said this when we were litigating before the hearing on the Clean Economy Act, that this is just step one of a multi-decade process as we lead to that ultimate goal in 2050. So I think a lot of it is going to be determined by the commission. You have two new commissioners, so there's a lot of energy and new blood and a lot of motivation to get this done, but to do so without putting too much of a rate burden on our customers. We're very conscious that I remind the commission quite frequently that our service territory is quite different from Dominion's. It doesn't have the economic vibrancy, the growth, the constant growth that Northern Virginia or the Crescent has. So it's a balance between encouraging development and meeting these goals with not doing so, to place too much of a burden on anyone in the service territory. So that's something that we keep in mind as a public utility. Our duty is to serve our customers as cost efficiently and reliably as possible. So it's an exciting time for sure. And I don't have any specific dates on when those other RFPs are going to come out, but they will be rolling out soon.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we're all staying tuned very closely. I think the whole nation and the whole world. What's happening in Virginia is so instructive and will provide lots of lessons learned, I'm sure. And thank you for the work that you're doing. It's going to take every single person. We need more people. There's not enough nerds in the Renaissance quite yet, not enough leadership, but thanks. I'm very curious to see, you are stretched across multiple geographies, and I have some large corporate experience stretched across different jurisdictions. And now is the doing. One of my themes also this conference has been, it's like the end of the beginning. And now we're going to go to scale with renewables. And that means it's time to roll our sleeves up, figure out all the details down to check the box forms. Hopefully the governor will sign HB 1925, Dominion, or DMME, Dominion yourselves. We'll all get more implementing guidance about these exciting grants. The community level folks will figure it out. But now I'm just getting really excited, Noelle. I apologize.
No problem at all.
Yeah. So
well,
any final thoughts, please?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I'll give you the email so you can include for questions about the RFP. If anyone has specific questions, there's an email for that. So I'll give that to y'all for your information.
Appreciate
But
that.
thank you.
You bet.
Yeah.
We did a blog for you guys too, I think, on an RFP. It's on the event website. And I know that we're going to be keeping a lot of blogs rolling out, after the event and into next year's event. So we look forward, maybe we'll get you in person in 2022. You come back and give us an update. And we'll see where we're at with the Renaissance at that point. And we'll probably be blogging about your PPA and your REC RFP as they come out later this year.
Great. I like that. Thank you very much.
You bet. Keep up the good work over there.
Thank you.
Yep. The future is bright. All right, everyone. So we are now kind of shifting a little bit early into our lunch break. And you're going to need it. So we're going to come back ahead of the top of the hour at 12:45. And changing the pace, again, rolling up the sleeves, getting down to the brass tacks that Ms. Robin Ernst started us talking about this morning, and getting nitty gritty. We're going to have a terrific, it's still a Greenfields 100 level, so don't be intimidated. Come back and let's really work through, how we're stabilizing soil and how these pollinator projects, kind of the subsurface things above ground and below the panels, how that's going to come together. We have Mr. Joe Belmonte from ECS, who's really going to give us the last word on the Greenfield angle before we tune into what were our biggest hits at the first go around of this DQ and now DMME event with some of our shiniest stars in our constellation on what we call Brightfields 300. It's a pair of sessions that will roll into the final expert Q&A wrap, where we're really digging into, pun intended, our other featured issue besides pollinators, which is, mine lands. But Brightfields 300s is a nice starter on kind of landfills and some of the other impacted lands, and come back at 3 o'clock for Brightfields 301, where we're really going to talk specifically about utility solar scale and then mine lands. So with that, I'll let everyone go. Queue up those questions, get a double shot of espresso if you need to, because we've really saved the best for last and there's a lot of stake yet to absorb. Thank you again. You've been watching the Virginia Solar Summit.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.